Hey, welcome to the Brown's Life podcast. I'm Will Brown, and today I have a special guest. His name is Greg Perry with Beyond the Humidor. We are going to welcome him and ask him a few questions as we start to change direction of how we do this podcast. Greg, you out there somewhere?
No, I'm not here. This is a recording.
Perfect. Hey, you are already ahead of me with that fine cigar. What are you smoking today?
I decided to pick up the Wise Man, and in true fashion, I'm ill prepared for this. So,
Of course.
call me the professional here. So, I
Yeah.
have the Wise Man. It is a foundation product. It's a Nick. It comes out of a house owned by Nick Manello.
Okay.
It is rolled out of the My Father's Cigars SA factory in Esteli. It's a Nicaraguan cigar grown in Esteli, Jalapa region. Filler tobaccos hail from somewhere else I can't even try to pronounce. Um, it's a wrapper leaf would be nice, but it's a Corojo wrapper. I know that much. The binder and filler are escaping me because this article sucks.
You know what?
Welcome to
That's
the real
okay.
world here.
That's okay. I just lit up a Rocky Patel, number 6. I still have part of the wrapper on, which is good for me. And of course, in like fashion, I can't find very much about mine either, which is kind of funny. Normally, I'm a lot better than that, but in this case, let me see here. It was Crojo, supposedly, grown in Honduras. It says it's got all sorts of, layers of different flavors in there. But as you know, I hate the flavor rating sometimes. And it gave itself a 95% rating, which, as you well know, I don't care. But I will say that it was the number 9 cigar of 2020, according to whomever wrote that. And we've already had conversations, I think, on how that goes. But I will say I've had them before. I do like them and I do enjoy them. It's a little bit sweeter on the draw. It's not earthy and leathery and peppery a lot of times. Sometimes I do get a little bit of that, but not a whole lot where it would be offensive. I do know that I've retrohaled this a few times, and they're quite lovely. They're not too harsh to be able to do that with. Some of them, they really reach up and grab you, and then as you're crying, trying to control yourself because you just retrohaled because you wanted to be a man, you decided that was a bad mistake. So I've done that too, but with the number 6, it's normally pretty good, and so we're gonna go and try this out again. So the reason for the podcast today is, hey, Greg, I'm a failure with my podcasts. I've got 3 or 4 of them out. Haven't seen a lot of traction. I've done a lot on the website, as you know, and I do cigar reviews, as you know, and other stuff. But and I get a little traction with that here and there. But I'm really wanting to kind of get into the podcast thing, and I guess I just have a series of questions I'd like to ask you and get your opinion on. You've been doing this. First off, I want to give you a little time to give you a background of what you do. Can you give us that?
Sure. So we started the show Beyond the Humidor in 2019 in September. So we're actually coming up to the 6-year mark in a week. And in 6 years, we've done 150 episodes. One is going to be recorded Monday night, which is today's what, the 6th or the 7th? So today is really the 7th. So the 8th of September, we're recording 151, and then it'll publish a week later. So we started as a group of guys hanging out, going to the cigar events and things like that, and then we got this idea. And
Okay.
this is where ideas get people in trouble. We had a shirt made for the Loomis Cigar Cartel. That's actually the Facebook group that I run. Um, and we had the shirt made, beautiful logo put on the back, and we went to Cigar Aficionado's Big Smoke in Las Vegas. And
Oh,
everybody's
cool.
asking us, where's Loomis and what are y'all about?
Right. Exactly. I can understand that.
And so we're sitting here, you know, um, Scott and a friend of ours, Lewis, were sitting at the airport. Myself, Bob, my brother, and my friend Roy, the 4 of us are driving back. And Lewis and Scott and I are all texting back and forth, going, there was a lot of recognition about the Loomis Cigar Cartel, what can we do with this? Can we create a social club? We kicked that idea around for a while and said, no, too much work, too busy to maintain.
Way too
And
much. I
then,
looked at that too.
yeah, it's just too hard.
Mhm.
You have to have rules and bylaws and all this other kind of stuff. And you're just like, no. And
Yeah.
then, so we started looking. Scott and I were smoking on his balcony at his place. And he's like, what about a podcast? I was listening to this one the other day and he starts playing it for me. And I was appalled.
Oh,
I'm like,
okay.
here's two English dudes in suits that cost more than my first car, sitting on deck chairs with a mansion behind them, talking down to me about my cigars. And Scott and I went, yeah, no. He goes,
Yeah.
we could do this and not talk down to people like that. And, you know, $1,800 later at that point, half the equipment was bought, and we got the show going audio only.
Perfect.
And then video came along and more money went out the door, and we're sitting present where we are now. We were recognized by the Premium Cigar Association in 2002 and made media members back then. And as you know, we just went to Rocky Mountain for or we went to Broomfield for the Rocky Mountain Cigar Festival.
Oh yeah,
And you got your first media pass this year with it. So
I did.
it's been a hell of a ride. It's been a lot of fun. And, it just is, honestly, for me, it's something I enjoy. And
Well,
how bad could it be? I get to smoke cigars and bullshit.
right, exactly. Well, and you kind of turned your hobby into having a little bit longer arm with your podcast, I think, because you guys talk about stuff like the rest of us talk about stuff, but maybe perhaps without the limitation that some of these other guys do with the suits and ties and the cars and the houses and stuff like that. For me, I like cigars because one, for me, it's a great hobby of being able to go out and socialize with people. I live in a desert, and so you would think socialization, people would flock to it. We don't. We stay inside. We don't do anything. And so
Yeah.
being able to open my Oasis here has been great because I have people that show up all the time, and we get to talk and socialize, and it's very light-hearted. And sometimes there's rock and roll playing in the background. Sometimes there's blues music playing in the background, and other times it's a ball game. So it just depends on what we're all in the mood for, and it works out really well that way. But I think what I want to focus on is, look, I've made some mistakes in trying to figure this all out, and I'm learning. I know that I'm learning, but what would you say is the biggest mistake that a new podcaster makes just when they're starting out?
Do I get to throw you under the bus?
Please do. Yeah, no, I'd rather you throw other people, but I'm here. Go for it,
And
man. Hey, whatever.
and first of all, I'm going to say every mistake that can be made, we've already done it.
Sure.
Um, you know, everybody thinks that they're going to. The biggest mistake, I think, you haven't made this one yet, but the biggest
Well, good
mistake
time.
everybody thinks is that they hit the record button for their very first time and automatically they have 300, 400,000 followers.
Yeah.
Lightning in a bottle doesn't happen.
Yeah, you want to see those numbers though. It's exciting to start all this, and as you said, you spent a grip of money on the equipment, and by God, where's all my followers? I mean, somebody
Uh-huh.
wants to hear me say something, maybe.
Right. And then here's the reality of a cigar podcast. The percentage of cigar smokers in the United States and in the world for that matter is a little over 1%. Way to pick a demographic that is very small. That
Right.
being said, in my opinion, with podcasting, there's room enough for everybody. They can all do what they want. But to think that you're going to have instant success and instant followers right away is not going to happen. You're going to have to take time and build. I mean, to get to the level we're at, which by no means are we top of the crop because that's obviously the Cigar Authority. They've been doing this for well over 10 years. Their views on YouTube are unreal. The amount of videos views of their videos and their shows they get. But we're just a little one and doing our thing, and we still get noticed. And I think I get on average 350 views a show.
Okay.
And everybody goes, well, that's not a lot. Well, it is in this industry, in cigars,
Right.
for example.
Right.
But it's one of those where if you enjoy it, the views are immaterial.
Yeah, exactly. And it just kind of depends on, again, what you're really looking for. If it's a hobby, wow. Sorry. Here in Idaho, it's fly season. I just about ate that one. That's yummy. Uh, I totally drained my thought too. It just kind of depends on what you want to do. Like if for me, I am taking a hobby and wanting to push it farther because I've contacted people all over the world doing this.
Yeah.
And when we went to the Rocky Mountain Cigar Fest here, this is 2025, of course, but we had a great time. But there were people from all over the world at that thing, and it's
Mhm.
great. And the camaraderie that one of the things that had impressed me was you were able to walk around and um, everybody knew you. I mean, they've just got to know you. They know your face at least, and they struck up a conversation, and I thought that was pretty neat. So,
Well, it just comes down to that would be my next thing, the next mistake that someone makes. Consistency.
what do you mean?
My
I'm not consistent? I mean, my last show was in April. What do you want?
right. But here's my thing, right? For our show. If you make a commitment to a listener, to your viewership, that your shows are coming out every 2 weeks on this date, they need to happen every 2 weeks on that date
Mhm.
because they expect it. I mean, what's an ultimate real podcast publishing schedule? That's up to the individual show. A friend of mine is a professional radio DJ. He does literally the dog's going to have a shit fit while we're busy recording, really.
It's like
Um,
Murphy's Law.
yeah, of course. So my buddy Pat, who runs the Pat's Peeps podcast, he literally puts out a episode every day. He's got something going on his podcast. And that's on top of his regular day job of his radio show Monday through Friday. So, I've got other friends that do shows that it's once a month, it's once a week. It just depends. Um, some of them do them once a week live on Facebook, and that's where you see it. And as long as that consistency happens, and if it's not going to happen, because God forbid you decide to take a vacation, Mr. Brown. Hey guys, guess what? Next week's episode's not going to happen because I'm on vacation. I'll see you on this date for the next show. At least they know that you haven't abandoned them because it's amazing. And I've got the data to prove it. You stop recording, your viewership plummets.
Mhm. Well, I mean, like to be honest, for me, I didn't get a lot of viewership anyways. I only had done, 3 or 4 of them before I try to figure out what did I just get myself involved in.
Right.
Um, but, one of the things that I'd like to say is you said you spent, what did you say, $1,400 and that was just for the first half?
18,
I
yeah.
If you were to launch from scratch today, 2025, what's the first thing you would focus on for gear or would it be for something different for content or some other way of doing an audience? What would you do? What are the nuts and bolts that you would change today, perhaps than how you started originally?
Um, First thing is quality of your content is king. So you have to be prepared to spend the money necessary to get quality audio, quality video. If you're doing it such as we're doing it today, which I often do, I cannot have guests fly in from the East Coast, for example, to my studio. So you do it via StreamYard. Your internet quality needs to be higher. And I actually had to fire my provider and get another one because the internet quality was so terrible that even day-to-day streaming of a freaking television show was terrible. But that's why, when it's 2025 and you're still on DSL, it's kind of a no-brainer. But, you know,
Well, we're not going to hold you liable too much for that. I mean, you do live in a very remote area, called California, and we can't expect you guys all to have high speed in the middle of California, possibly the biggest state of the union. California should be able to possibly have some kind of higher speed internet for the people around the surrounding area of, the People's Republic of California, for God's sakes. You'd think you guys pretty much just open your window and have it wirelessly by now.
This from a this from a man living in a state that's 4 steps higher than Alabama. Yeah, it's
Oh,
true,
man.
but it is, content is content. You can create that. It's the quality that you're gonna create. So, what's it gonna be? There are many ways to record the show. We happen to use the Rode um, soundboard system, and they're on their third version now. They've got the Rode One, which is what I have, the Rode Two, the Rode Duo. Hell, for all I know, they've got a Rode Three out, um, and that's a grip of money, as you well know.
Well,
Um,
I tried that.
yeah, I know you had issues. I haven't, so
You had the first one. I had the Duo, and
I haven't.
I've had a better time with a one-handed golf swing than I could trying to get that thing to work.
Oh, I say, don't get me wrong. I have a Duo as well.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
The full size Rode is too difficult to take when you travel.
Of course.
And then what are you going to do for your audio, for your mics? Are you going to go the cheap route and go to Amazon and buy the $29 special? Are you going to buy the pod mic at $199? Or are you going to go with a $100 one? Are you going to really go out the wall and buy a Sennheiser at freaking $700? It's what are you willing to spend? And then let's not even talk about video.
Yeah, video cameras are pretty expensive. I know that I did my venture out was at the Rocky Mountain, and I'm starting to pick up some media stuff doing that, and I really enjoy it. It's a great hobby for me. But I had a little bit of a problem with my mics that I was using for my mobile version. For my local studio here that I've created, I've got a Scarlett system for the 4 mics. I got real live microphones. I mean, you can't. I have real live headsets. If
Right.
that's what I want to do. But I went this route because it was easier for me, and the sound quality was pretty good. Although now that you've heard me move the mic, that's going to be fun to edit later. But I actually wanted to have some things be somewhat of quality that wasn't going to break my bank. But let's face it, honestly, in my personal opinion, if you can get your bloody cell phone to be your camera and you can get a really good microphone and spend the money on the microphone a la carte, it wakes you up in the morning kind of microphone. I think personally, I would go that route if I'm going to be mobile. I don't know that I would get all the other camera equipment and crap. I have some of it, but I just don't know that I would do it quite that way.
It I agree with you. It depends on what you're doing. I have both. I have the full studio setup that we use to record Beyond the Humidor every 2 weeks. Um, and let me tell you, it's a pain in the ass. In our case, we're recording at our local tobacconist, our local cigar lounge, and our tobacconist kindly lets us use it. And I have to drag the entire setup up there, set it up, record, tear it down, and take it home again. And
Yeah,
it's a bitch. Could it be done
yeah,
easier? Yes.
yeah,
However, quality sacrifices. Now, that being said, to record mobile, where I don't want to pull my whole studio, my wireless mic setup was $100. My phone is my camera because it's a Galaxy, and the recording is fantastic. So I do both. I have what I need for recording in the studio, and I have what I need to be mobile when the studio's not there. And there are so many options. And the reality of it is, for like wireless mics, for example, there are so many options on Amazon for $99 or less. And it looks cheap. It looks like it's the finest in Chinesium, but the sound quality is better than my $300 set. And I'm like, what the hell is this?
exactly. Oh,
So,
that does make sense. Okay, here's going to be a different. We're going to kind of segue just a little bit on the why or the how, and go kind of to the how, I guess. So for me, I went out there. I started looking at doing podcasts. I started looking at doing video, and they asked me a question that just made me freeze. What's your niche or niche, depending on what side of the country you're on? I don't have a niche. I am me. I talk funny. I have a funny sense of humor because I'm older. I have faith. I love cigars. That right there doesn't go well together. Um, how do you suggest narrowing something for your life reflections that people actually want to listen to? Because I honestly, I still struggle with that a lot of it myself.
I don't. Um, my regular listeners will tell you we talk cigars, we talk shit, we talk what we're doing in our day to day lives. We treat the audience as if they're sitting in the cigar lounge with us and it's a normal day smoking a cigar. The cigar, much like life, the cigar on the show is the conveyance for conversation. Where it goes, I mean, there are some scripted parts, I admit, when we're talking about cigar news or things we have to discuss, but the niche, whichever you prefer, it doesn't mean crap, in my opinion.
Mhm.
It's podcast is the freedom to express who you are and what you want to say, no matter what it is. So I don't think that people should pigeonhole themselves into something. Um, there was a reason why we named the podcast Beyond the Humidor. So
Mhm.
we can talk about whatever we want. And, you know, yes, you know, I'm name dropping here, but I'm not name dropping in a negative way. Bovida puts out their podcast. They are super cigar centric. And do I enjoy it? Yes. But would it be fun to know more about the host's personal life and what they do and I would think so. It's the way we've ran ours because here's the other thing that goes along with the niche. If you pigeonhole yourself, you may also pigeonhole your personality. And if someone meets me, as you saw 2 weeks ago, it's the same person at the festival as it is on the recording. It's
Yeah.
no false front, no attitude, no different attitude. Same lovable asshole that I am in real life is who I am on the show because I think reality is important in that too. You have to be who you are. So pigeonholing, throw that out the window.
Yeah, I'm kinda learning a little bit about that, but I guess I have a question, like, for me, is it better to pivot gradually, maybe just have some small changes in your format or tone, or is it better just to take a clean break and reintroduce yourself? Because I kinda feel like when I first started, I have a chaplaincy background, and so I have a few things to say with faith, and I've done some life coaching kinda things or faith coaching kinda things when I'm needed. Chaplaincy is a whole different world. It's we're never called out because someone's having a happy day. We're always called out at the worst times possible for them. And so we
Right.
find ourselves getting into a lot of different arenas and we have to be somewhat prepared for that. But honestly, I find myself where I just wasn't comfortable talking about that a lot of the times. And so that's part of what this is about is that I feel that I'm just gonna be making the break, kinda changing over and doing some things altogether, talking out of what I call the Oasis. You've had an opportunity of coming here a couple times and just relaxing and shooting the crap with us and enjoying yourself, I hope, and so, that's kinda the direction I wanted to try to take the podcast as well.
Right. And that ideally I think is a positive thing. It's where you feel most comfortable. And that could mean a harsh pivot. It could mean a gradual pivot. I don't know what episode you came into listening to Beyond the Humidor at, because that's honestly how you and I met is through cigars. Uh, and our show has evolved from the first 22 episodes were rougher. They were not as free flowing. They were different. And then some things happened. The show broke for about 4 or 5 months, and then we came back with a different format. Same format, but different way of going about it. So either
What's
option
what
works,
changed?
but people,
Personnel.
yeah. Um,
Okay.
so it was some people decided they wanted to leave and do their thing, which,
Yeah,
I hope everybody does their success. That's what this is about, is having fun and being successful and
right.
being you. And so we came back and changed a few things, and it's also been steadily evolving for the past 6 years. I mean, we added another voice to the show a couple of years ago, And that was Larry's son Anthony, and he's joined us on many episodes and become part of the group. And so it can evolve. And in our case, it was a harsh right turn and then a slow evolution after that. So I don't think there's anything wrong with, like, you're wanting to do a clean break, change what you're wanting to talk about. Your audience is going to understand as long as you explain it.
Gotcha. Well, hopefully that's a little bit about what this is an explanation of what is that crazy guy doing now? Nah, I don't know.
Yeah.
As you can tell, we're still trying to figure that out. So let me see. What are some signs that you would say? I mean, you're farther into this. You look at the matrix of listeners, you look at the region of listeners, you look at all sorts of different things on your platforms of how you're growing your own personal success with this. What are some signs I should look for to say, you know what, it's time to change course?
I think the audience is not your major course change guidelines.
Okay.
Um, your listenership might be related, but more importantly, it's in your case, you're a solo podcaster most of the time versus mine's a group. But it's the group dynamic. How does it work? How does it function? Do you hate getting together and recording? Do you like getting together and recording? Do you, as an individual, aside from the stage fright, throw that out the window? But are you tired of looking at that camera and talking to your audience, or are you not? Do you enjoy what you do? Um, all of those things play into course correction or cancellation. Either way. And I think that, like, I don't plan to give up. So, there are times where both of my co-hosts are 10 years older than I am. So at some point, both Scott and Larry are going to retire. They're going to want to move out of the state of California.
I can't blame them for that.
I don't either. I'm in the same boat. I'm ready to get out and move up to that hillbilly redneck state that's just above Nevada
Hey,
and to the left of or to the right of Oregon. But nonetheless,
hey, we got internet.
yeah.
Um,
But you got suppressed wages and other things like that. But that's another
we
show.
do. We do.
Um, but I think that for me, and I hope this helps answer your question. It's the thought process I have now of in the future. The show's going to have to evolve because they will retire, they will move away, and with Larry, technology's not his friend. So doing what we're doing right now, a StreamYard podcast, it may not be his cup of tea to be a host anymore. So it's just something that is in that future, and I know it's going to happen. But until then, if the shit ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, I agree. I actually have found that I like the interviewer type of podcast better. I like the camaraderie.
Mhm.
Um, and I still in my brain feel like I'm just a dork when I'm talking by myself. So it's a little bit of a learned process. I mean, I'm sure you've moved past it. I have not. I'm too early in my process, but I don't, as I said, I don't feel like people want to hear me per se of just me rattling off information. I feel like it's more of an interactive, conversational type setting that I do better at. Like
Well,
this. I don't have a problem doing this. This is spur of the moment for both of us, and I feel like we're both having a conversation that people could actually be interested in.
you would think. One of the things that you do is for your listeners on your side, mine kind of know already, but you write cigar reviews that go on my website, LumaCigarCartel.com. You write so well at how those are laid out. If you could translate that into how you're going to host your show,
Mhm.
even as a solo person, you will find you'll have an audience that will pay attention. Humans are hardwired to want to hear stories. They're hardwired to want to hear conversations. Everyone's freaking nosy. We all know that.
Right.
So, you know, um, if you can get away from I'm afraid to talk to people myself, it makes this job, give me for a minute, loose tobacco. It makes the job a lot easier because everyone thinks, I think that's also the mentality you might be in. I'm talking to myself. No, you're not.
I
You're
suppose.
alone. You're talking to an object, the camera that's in front of you, but that's
Right.
also your audience. That's your other human beings. So I'll get people that will come on the show and they'll, you finally put a mic in front of them and all of a sudden they freeze because there's a mic sitting there now. And it's like, the mic's not the problem. It's
Right.
just a conversation with the three of us. Don't worry. The mic's just there to make sure that what you say is heard.
Right.
Um,
Yeah,
Pat, that I
that
mentioned.
that part I don't have a problem with, but
Right.
it is the rambling on my own.
Well, Pat, my friend that I mentioned that does the radio show every night, professionally, he's talking to himself unless he's got a caller, and he does it for a living. He's very good at it. And it's just one of the things he said is practice, 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 practice. The more you do it, the more comfortable you get. I mean, go to our back catalog, listen to the first few shows. It was rough. None of us knew what we were doing. Oh, we're going to buy all this equipment. We're going to hit the record button. Woo! Here we go.
Right. Right.
No idea what the hell we were doing. Now, it's practice, and I can stand in testament to tell you, practice makes perfect.
Well, what would you say is the most effective way that you can see podcasters grow beyond just immediate friends and family?
I have no idea if you want the honest answer to that question.
Okay.
One of the most evil things on the planet is also something that is your friend, social media.
Yeah.
I am by no means an expert. Um, it's one of the things that I struggle with on our show is trying to figure out how to adapt Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, X, whatever the hell it's called. How to
Yeah.
adapt that stuff to reach that wider audience. And, it does help, but unless you're willing to, how do I put this somewhat professionally? Unless you're willing to get half naked on your freaking show and put it out all over, it's not going to grow quickly. It's going to take time.
Yeah.
Um, so to grow organically, which is what we did, it's taken 6 years to get to where we're at. It took 3.5 years to get recognized by the Premium Cigar Association because
Right.
it was organic. I have no magic, do this and you're going to be a superstar, because it ain't that way.
Have you seen, like, in this industry anyways, because we're talking about the cigar, I'll say cigar industry, cigar podcasters, communicators, whatever. Have you seen that social media is not always your friend on that? Because, like, for instance, I've had Brown's Life Oasis group for 6 months. I maybe had 10 people on there. I haven't
Mhm.
promoted it. I don't want to be that guy, right? Hey, I got something to sell you. But it is fun to be able to get together and do virtual herfs and stuff like that. So I feel like there is something to offer. But I mean, have you, like, you two? I know just on some of the few that I've put out there, they've pimp slapped me, man. They don't want anything dealing with cigars, dealing with alcohol, dealing with anything that's, I guess, other than Kool-Aid of some form. But have you noticed any of that when you're posting any of your stuff?
We get regularly, choose your expletive here, by Instagram most often.
You
Facebook
get
sometimes too. Because social media changes their algorithms like we all change our underwear. At least I hope we all change our underwear daily. Um, it changes. So no, don't you me that turn it around and turn it inside out. That's gross.
for 4
No,
days.
no, I don't care. I'm a deer hunter, and if
No, I
I'm out there for
understand.
10 days, I have 10 days of clean underwear. That no.
Oh, I
But
understand.
nonetheless, I think social media has become a great tool for the industry as a whole. It has allowed an entirely new way for cigar smokers and cigar aficionados to connect with the manufacturers, with podcasts, with other cigar smokers in general. But it has its biting side where you don't exactly see monetization. Facebook, Instagram, Google, YouTube have all said, if you're tobacco and alcohol based, we won't monetize you. Okay, that's fine. But they haven't shut down my content yet, and as you know from listening to my show, we sometimes will step across that line.
You know what got me on your show?
Go for it.
The first show I watched, you had the Dancing Beaver segment.
Beaver break.
Beaver break. That was the
So
funniest dadgum thing I'd seen on the internet probably in forever, and I was like, "All right, I gotta listen to these. What the hell is this about?" It
so
was
the
funny. You could have just taken the swimming beaver break or whatever it was, and just made that into a reel, and probably flooded your entire podcast because that crap is funny. I don't care what you say.
I might have to look into that. It's one of those things where occasionally, so we'll step across the line, right? But
Yeah.
occasionally we will vault over even that and say something that even we'll look at each other after the recording and go, yeah, our day jobs are going to fire us for that. And that's where the beaver break came in. You put the video over that and it covers up the video and the audio, and you can say what you want, and the audience doesn't know we made a joke that was completely and totally inappropriate
Right.
and really, really bad, and the show goes on, and YouTube doesn't flag us and things like that. So it all
Nice.
works. But I think that's the fun thing about a podcast too, is because you're not bound by FCC regulations. You can use the F word as many times as you want, and they can't fine you for now.
Nice. Okay, so in podcasting, one of the things that I've learned is that the edit sometimes takes longer than the podcast did to record. So what is
Yeah.
your favorite tool or system that saves you time in the production?
There isn't any.
Okay.
My ultimately favorite tool was Anthony. Um, he was my editor for a while, so I
Okay.
wouldn't have to edit the show. I would show up, we would record the show. I do the pre-production work and not the post. But um, I have come to find two tools very useful for post-production. And you're
Okay.
absolutely right. The edit does take longer. The show that you and I and Tommy did, recapping Rocky Mountain for our groups, for our media credential. I spent 2.5 hours editing the damn thing, went to render it for posting, and the program shit the bed.
Of course.
I
Of
had
course
to
it did.
edit it over again from scratch in a different rendering program, and it worked fine. I don't know what happened, but it does. So now we recorded for an hour and 45 minutes, and I'm 6.5 hours in to produce this thing to put it out.
If people don't realize that.
Yeah. But there's the biggest thing is find an editing software that you like and learn it well. I am having to learn a new system because my old one is starting to glitch out. But then again, it's also software that is 6 years old. And in software terms, as you know, being in the former tech industry, that's obsolete now.
That's forever. Yeah.
So, but I was shown DaVinci Resolve or Resolve DaVinci, whatever, DaVinci Resolve, I think is what it's called. It's an editing tool. It's free. It's video editing software that is free, and it's excellent. Freaking professional studios use this program. And I'm still learning it. Am I as good as I should be by now? No, but that too is a work in progress. So it's for me, it's get that software that you like and learn it well. That's the best tool you can have because yeah, I mean, can you do it in one take? Yes. Should you always do it in one take? Mm, After 151 episodes or 150 episodes, yeah, you can.
So would you say with your podcast, the honeymoon's over? The
Long
honeymoon
over.
phase? The
Long
honeymoon
over.
phase? So what keeps you motivated and not burning out?
Believe it or not, I really enjoy it. I look forward to the Monday night recording session with Larry and Scott and Anthony. I look forward to the hour and a half that we're smoking at Tobacco Republic before the show. You know, just talking and BSing. It's a social thing for me. So it's quite fun, you know. I get to come up and visit you guys and set the equipment up and record with you guys when I come
Mhm.
visit. I get to cover the events that VCut has and that the Vault has. So it's ever changing for one, and for two, it for me it's really I enjoy it. And there's always the slight bit of gratification when someone walks up to you, either be at Rocky Mountain or at my local cigar lounge, and go, "Hey, you're the guys from Beyond the Humidor." Yes, we are. And you know, you start talking about their favorite show and things like that. I mean, that's it boosts your ego a little bit and it's fun.
All right, so you've been picking on me for a little bit, but what is one thing that you did with this podcasting realm that absolutely didn't work? A regret, if you will.
I don't know if I've had much major regrets. I know that like one of the things that is we started with the Loomis Cigar Cartel and then we went to Beyond the Humidor as the podcast, and now we're kind of shifting focus onto Beyond the Humidor more of a brand than the cartel itself. And I think it would have been a bit easier if we had just picked the one brand and stuck with it and not had the two, because it's funny. My podcast is called Beyond the Humidor. My website is lumiscigarcartel.com. Can't change that, unfortunately.
You
Um,
can't. It just takes time
and money.
and money.
I mean, realistically, I own beyondthehumidor.com as well. If you type in beyondthehumidor.com, it redirects you right to where it's supposed to go.
Yeah,
So that isn't 100%, but it would have been a lot easier from the get go if we'd have done that. So, you know, I think a little bit less, let's get this started and get going, and more of prior proper planning prevents piss poor performance.
the 7 Ps.
Hmm.
Exactly right. What is the best piece of advice that you've ever ignored and then later regretted? Well, I got you mid light. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Ever ignored. And then, so it comes back to that thing I was saying about lightning in a bottle. When we started discussing what we were going to do, my brother Craig was like, "You guys have no idea. You guys think this is going to be overnight success. It's not going to be. It's going to be 3 to 5 years before you get recognition. It's going to be 10 plus years before you guys get really good." Da, 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 da.
Yeah, sure.
So now knowing that, and as you know, I tell people that up front. We
Yeah,
did this. This was the plan. That ain't going to happen. So
right.
get ready for, you know, oh my God, I only got 10 views this week. Oh my God, I only got, you know, I only have 5 views on this episode. Yeah, that happens. Two choices: keep moving forward or give up.
Sure.
It's an interesting one. I know you know the answer to this question, but I don't think a lot of listeners will. What is the average length of a lifetime of a podcast?
2 years.
7 episodes.
Oh, nice. You think that's because they don't see the lightning in the bottle, or do you think it's because it's too much bloody work, or what do you attribute that to?
Both.
Both.
Both. The first one obviously is lightning in a bottle. They think
Mhm.
that they because we have become a society of internet influencers.
We have.
And you'll forgive me, but I'm going to put it bluntly, as I normally do. Slut yourself out on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok and get
Or
200
YouTube.
plus thousand followers. And guess what? It absolutely works.
I'm sorry. How do I slut myself out?
You and I don't have that ability. We're not cute,
Okay. Okay. That's fine.
but that's the first one. That's what you see. That's what the world thinks. I can start a podcast. I can start a YouTube channel. I can start a Facebook page or a Facebook group. Unless you're freaking 19 and are going to put on a string bikini and dance around in it, you ain't going to get that many followers. It's not going to happen.
Well, I
It's
mean,
going to be a slow progression.
I could put on a string bikini and dance around, I suppose.
No
I
one
just
wants to
I
see that.
I don't think anyone's gonna be joining my channel for that though. Unless it's on fire or something. They might get into
No,
that.
but if if you take the time and are willing to commit to the time, progress will happen. It just takes time. That's the major factor. With us, you know, you've seen me pull a show out of my rear end in your Oasis with no prep, no nothing. Turn the recording on and off we go.
Pretty sure we're doing that right now.
But that's also 6 years of doing this. I know what to do. But in reality, like the show that we run tomorrow, I've already spent probably 4 to 6 hours over this last week getting my notes in order, getting the articles that have been sent to me, the press releases that have been sent to me from various cigar manufacturers that are releasing a new line or changing a line or adding a size, putting all that information together, writing down the bullet points so that we know when we get started, at least for some of it, what we're going to talk about. And then once we've got all the cigar stuff out of the way, we go into more fun of, now let's talk about the random shit. Now let's talk shit. Now Scott can rant about whatever he's going to rant about. And Anthony can talk about what the Scouts did or what his MASH podcast is doing. They don't want to prep that.
Yeah.
And again, prior proper planning prevents piss poor performance. I had to move locations because the internet was so shitty.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems like California is good for that. So,
So where did we leave off?
I don't even know.
So we were talking about something, but the stress of trying to get back connected again was a little bit too much for my pea brain.
No, I understand. I think we've covered a whole lot of grounds. I guess what suggestions we'll start it up with the last thing. Not just me per se. What suggestions would you have for me or for somebody else who's going to want to continue doing podcasts?
Don't give up is the biggest one. I mean, you have to, despite the fact of, you don't see the viewers that you want, you don't see the numbers that you want. If you keep doing what you're doing every day, every week, every month, every year, you're going to get noticed. You're going to get companies paying attention to what you are. Utilize social media to the best of your ability. If you're not sure about it, the University of YouTube offers a lot of freaking teeny bopper influencers that are highly successful to tell you what to do. There are other tricks and techniques that you've even taught me that people should look into. And if they want to look into that, there's a fee that comes with getting that information.
Absolutely.
But you can't give up. You can't quit. You have to keep going. And the biggest thing I think too is find a topic that you love and you enjoy talking about and do it, whether it be photography, cigars. Hell, I know a buddy that does a podcast that most people would find completely inappropriate, but it's a hobby that they have and they do it.
Which is?
We're not going to talk about what it is, but
Really? It's that bad?
yeah. Well, let me put it to you this way. It's a fetish podcast, okay?
Oh, yeah.
But I'll tell you this, okay? Yes, it is. But talk about successful, talk about listenership. He's got it.
Yeah, I'll bet.
So the gambit is out there. There's no limit on what you can and can't talk about. There's just a limitation on you. You set your own limitations.
Okay. Well, I was ending it pretty much when you started spazzing out on me with your internet. Where can they find you? What projects are you working on? Give me all your contact stuff that you'd want some folks to find you.
So the easiest way to get a hold of anybody at Beyond the Humidor, whether it be Scott, Larry, or myself, is info@loomiscigarcartel.com. That's our email. Just know, if you do choose to send us an email, we read them on the show and we comment on the show.
Nice.
There's also loomiscigarcartel.com. That's our website. It's the easiest way to get a hold of us. If they want to follow us on Facebook, there's the Beyond the Humidor podcast group. Join that. Share your cigar journeys with us. Only thing we ask is, keep it cigar centric. Don't talk politics. Don't talk religion. Let's not get into arguments there. And then, the Loomis Cigar Cartel Facebook page is our social media outlet. There's the same on Twitter, and this, although we don't use Twitter that much anymore, to be honest. But there's Instagram, Loomis Cigar Cartel. We try to keep up with what we're doing and, what the shows are doing and what events we're going to and things like that. So reach out. We love to hear from people.
Okay, great. And did you give the email address?
Info, INFO, at loomiscigarcartel.com.
Okay, great. And for me, I'm at brownslife.com. You can reach me at info@brownslife.com. I also have a Facebook group that we launched 6 months ago, I guess. Haven't really done much with it, but we're just starting and got some ideas of some things to do. So if you look up Facebook groups, go to Brown's Life Oasis, you'll find us there. And we're going to start doing virtual herfs online from time to time. Not too many. I don't want a bunch of people, 20 people at a time or whatever, and that's more than enough. So you come early or you wait for the next one, whatever that is. And I, of course, have different events that happen here locally, but that's a whole different thing. But that's the easiest way to get a hold of me. And then,
Yeah.
Do we get to tell them the secret?
No.
We don't get to tell them the secret yet.
Remember, what secret?
Well, I'm going to be continuing to do a little bit of collaboration with you.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's that. I mean, that's not a secret, really. I mean, for the love of God, you're the most prolific author on the blog site on my page at loomiscigarcartel.com on Humidor Talk. You've done the most on there.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I mean,
And
and I'll tell you,
we're gonna convert that for some video too, though.
yes, we are. We started a project called After Dark. Um, yes, the podcast is unfiltered, but After Dark can be very unfiltered, particularly when spirits are involved. So
Yeah.
that's a project that Will has kindly decided to join me on. And so we're going to be doing some stuff for that. And clearly, as you all can see, one of my caveats that we discussed earlier is to make sure your internet quality, and I've got great internet, but the network in this 2,000 square foot house is a little bit small. So I got to fix that so we can actually do the lives and things like that and not have issues.
Right. Well, the People's Republic of California is limited at best, so I understand that.
Yeah, this from a desert little island out there.
Anyways, you
Even-
guys, it has
even
been
though-
fun. Go ahead.
Even though I do enjoy my visits up there to the free state of Idaho.
It's the only oasis in Idaho. Come on down
Hey,
anytime.
by the way, something we do on our show all the time, which you neglected to do. How's that cigar treating you? I'm almost done with mine.
Well, I'm 2/3 of the way done. I enjoy it. Yeah, we're about the same, I guess.
Uh-huh.
I enjoy it. It's a good, solid cigar. My burn has been very even. I haven't had to touch it up at all once. And if you've seen me in the Oasis as we're talking, I have to always touch up my cigars. This has been very even, very pleasant burn. Does have a little bit of a leathery taste, but I do have some different flavors in there as well. Not really fruity, kind of a little sweet leather, which is a bit strange in its of itself to explain it that way, but it's been very pleasant. It's a very light wrapper. If you guys get to know me more, you'll know that I like the dark ones called Maduro quite a bit more, just because it's a more full flavor and not necessarily full strength. I don't need them to be that strong, but I do like the flavor profile of that. But I also like black coffee and I like dark roast. So I mean, it just depends on your palate on which cigar you really enjoy. We've had folks here that really enjoy flavored cigars. Not really my thing, but if they're enjoying it, then they're enjoying it, and I don't fault them for that.
Yeah.
How about you? How's your cigar?
Um, you know, Foundation is one of my favorites, and I don't get it as often as I would like because, um, you know, we bag on California all the time, whether it's my show or whether all you damn Idahoans bag on me from being from California. But,
All the time.
it's one of those where Foundation is a solid, well constructed, well blended cigar.
Yeah.
They do excellent work in their darker cigars. I would be willing to bet a lot of the Maduros that they have are directly into your wheelhouse. And
Okay.
my favorite is my absolute favorite from Nick's line is the Highclere Castle. It's a beautiful Connecticut. Most people find Connecticut's to be too light. They're boring. They're
Mhm.
dull. I don't
Yeah.
know how Nick did it, but the flavor level is a full flavored cigar for a Connecticut with the light and creamy Connecticut notes that you would expect.
Mm.
It's a wonderful blend. And then to top that off, to make it even better, he comes out with the Highclere Victorian after the late great Queen Victoria, and it's a Maduro of this. I would think almost the same blend because I don't have the blend sheet in front of me, but it's a beautiful Maduro. And you've known me long enough that I tend to smoke more medium to medium full,
Yep.
and I do like a full-bodied cigar, particularly after a heavy steak, or pot roast or something heavy for dinner, and but not as often as you do. And it's a beautiful Maduro, and they just do well. So I pick up a foundation. I'm always happy.
You can get those easily down there with you, right?
Not as easily as you would think. To get a foundation, I have to travel into the heart of Sacramento, and I prefer not to cross the Business 80 loop unless I'm going to the airport.
Understood.
But
I can get foundations here, but I can't get the Rocky Patels here to save my life. So mine's imported, I think probably from California. And
yeah,
somebody presented me with one of these. I think it was Tommy actually, and
yeah,
I've
it's
had
Tommy's favorite.
and then I ordered some of them, and I think it's the last one I have. So
Yeah, I mean,
we'll have to search around for them.
the hard part for me is always is my absolute 100% favorite cigar, as is out of production, and you can hardly get them anymore.
Yeah, I'm aware. All right, buddy. Well, what's funny is the screen froze right on that smile, so that's perfect. Uh, and with that, I think I will bid you guys all adieu for until we do the next one. I don't have a schedule yet. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. It's slow. I'll get there. I promise. Be patient with me. But we are definitely having a transition to be talking more about cigars and more of that life that I enjoy. It is called Brown's Life. It's about my life, and I look forward to sharing with more of it for you a little bit later. You guys have a great day.
Take care, guys.